All right, so for example number 2, I wanted you to see this. So let's do this. Example number 2, we're going to take 2p cubed plus 2p squared plus 2p divided by 2p. Now I'm choosing a very easy and simple problem because honestly you could probably do this without long division. But also sometimes I like to choose a simple problem and let you do the long division so you feel comfortable doing the long division. So remember that 2p is the divisor, and that's going into 2p cubed plus 2p squared plus 2p. And you'd be amazed at how many kids will struggle with this last term. Okay? They'll say 0 or, anyways, let's just crank through it. So I'm going to focus on this term going into this one. So we do the numbers first. What do I multiply 2 by to get 2? 1, right? Positive 1. So we'll write the little plus sign down. Now, the next thing we're going to focus on is I need to multiply p by something here to get p to the third power. So what you need to think, and I'm going to write this down, and I want you to write it down in your notes because when you go to take the test, you might forget this come test time. It'll be 2 weeks from now. You need to think p times p raised to some power, we don't know what it is equal to p to the third. Remember that p is p to the first, so what would this be? Yeah, the second. The reason it would be the second is because the shortcut is we add those powers. In other words, we would say p times p times p, which is p to the third. Remember that p squared is p times itself. Or another way you could think of it is p to the first power times p to the second power is equal to p times 1 plus 2. Now there's 2 rules. This is the rule that we're using now. Another rule is when you multiply them. So we're always going to add the powers in this particular case, but sometimes kids get confused. What if I have p to the 7? Well, let me make that smaller. What if I have p squared cubed? Well, that shortcut would be p raised to the 2 times 3, which would be p to the 6. And where that comes from is that what is p squared? Well, it's p squared, but I'm taking this and I'm cubing it, right? So it's going to be p squared times p squared times p squared, right? When I say p squared cubed, I'm really saying p squared times itself 3 times, right? So then this is p times p. I do want you to write all this down. Times p times p times p times p. I should have chosen a different letter. How many p's do we have there? 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is the same as 2 times 3. So the multiplication is when, for this one here, is when you raise a power to a power. That's when you multiply. That's the only time. And you'll see parentheses and a number outside the parentheses. So I'm raising this power to this power. That's the only time you multiply, okay? So I noticed yesterday when I was going over this, kids were like, do you multiply them? No, you add them for what we're doing. So you're right, we're going to say p squared. Multiply it out. 1 times 2 is 2. P squared times P is P to the cube. What do we do next? We're going to subtract it. It becomes 0. You don't have to write the 0 down, but we will today. Then we carry down the 2p, right? Squared. 2p squared. What do I multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. Positive 1, so be sure to write down the plus sign. And then now let's do the p's. What do I multiply p by to get p squared? P. Right? So that's positive 1p. Multiply it out. 1 times 2 is 2. P times p is p squared. What do we do next? Subtract it. That becomes 0. We don't have to write the 0 down. Drop down this 2p. What do I multiply 2 by to get 2? 1. Positive 1, so we put the plus sign down. What do I multiply p by to get p? 1, right? So that's the answer. 1 times 2p is just 2p. When you subtract it, you have a remainder of 0. So since I have a remainder of 0, the answer is literally this top thing. So really what we're saying is 2p times p squared plus p plus 1 is equal to 2p cubed plus 2p squared plus 2p. Okay? Are there any questions on that? That's it. Okay. I'll leave that up for a second so you guys can finish writing it down. I know I go kind of